In a secluded corner of the world, where majestic mountains rise, there was a village of humble farmers. Among them, a young man stood out for his indolence. While his fellow villagers were busy in the fields and workshops, he preferred to spend his days in the shade of a tree, lulled by dreams and fantasies. One day, a venerable old monk, known for his wisdom, visited the village. He called the young man to him and proposed a challenge. "My son," said the monk, "I have a task for you. You must climb the mountain that overlooks our village and bring back a single feather from the highest peak." The young man, with a smug smile, replied, "It's an impossible feat. I'm too lazy for such a titanic endeavor." The monk, with an enigmatic smile, replied, "The feather I seek is not on the mountain, but on the other side, in a cave accessible only after reaching the top and descending the other side." The young man's curiosity was piqued by this unusual challenge, so he decided to accept the monk's challenge. The climb was grueling, a real test of endurance, but as he advanced, a sense of excitement and euphoria began to pervade him. When he finally reached the summit, he was exhausted but euphoric. The breathtaking panorama that opened up before him gave him a sense of accomplishment he had never felt before. But the real test was still ahead of him. He had to descend the other side of the mountain, an even more treacherous path, and find the cave where the feather was said to be. The descent was a real warpath, full of pitfalls and difficulties. He stumbled and fell many times, but he did not give up, driven by the promise of the feather that awaited him. When he finally reached the cave, he saw the feather there, shining in the light that filtered in from the entrance. He picked it up and admired its beauty, but then he realized he had a problem. How was he going to climb back up the mountain and return the feather to the monk? For a moment, he thought of giving up, but then he remembered the sense of accomplishment and pride he had felt when he had reached the summit. He knew he had the strength and determination to do it again. So he began the climb back up, his muscles aching and his breath labored. But he did not give up. He forced himself to continue, driven by the realization that he had overcome his laziness and achieved something truly extraordinary. When he finally reached the monk and presented him with the feather, the monk smiled and said, "Well done, my son. Today you have learned an important lesson. Laziness is not something to be accepted or tolerated. It is a challenge to be overcome, an obstacle to be overcome." The young man nodded, understanding the wisdom of the monk's words. He realized that he had always been capable of great things, but that his laziness had held him back. Now he knew he had the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle that stood in his way. The lesson of the monk's challenge is that laziness is not something that should be accepted or tolerated. It is a challenge that must be overcome, an obstacle that must be overcome. To overcome laziness, we must challenge ourselves and set ambitious goals, no matter how difficult they may seem. We must push ourselves beyond our limits and persevere, even when we face setbacks and obstacles. We must also cultivate discipline and consistency in our daily habits and routines. Another important aspect of overcoming laziness is to cultivate a growth mindset. This means seeing challenges and failures as opportunities for growth and learning, rather than as reasons to give up. Ultimately, overcoming laziness requires the willingness to step out of our comfort zone and embrace the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. If this story has inspired you, if you feel that you too can overcome your laziness and reach the summit of your personal mountain, then subscribe to the channel. Together, we can face challenges and overcome obstacles. Remember, the feather is there waiting for you. All you have to do is reach it.